Kathryn Janeway's back. Kinda. She's a hologram. Duh. And she also has a new Starfleet ship, the USS Protostar. This video is going to be all about what we know so far based on its trailer reveal. If you haven't even heard about the show, we'll get into that as well. Fate has brought us together, so let's continue this incredibly pointless journey. This is Hologram Janeway's ship. So let's start off. What is a Star Trek Prodigy? If you say Wesley Crusher, you'd be right. But Star Trek Prodigy is also an upcoming animated series geared towards kids. This will make it the third Star Trek animated series after Lower Decks and created by Gene Roddenberry, also known as the animated series. It'll be set in 2383, which is about 4 years after the events of Star Trek Nemesis. The premise is a group of non-human kids finding a starship and going on adventures in the Delta Quadrant. There could be a canon justification for why this Starfleet ship is even in the Delta Quadrant. In the Voyager episode Lifeline, which takes place in 2377, we find out that Starfleet has sent 2 deep space vessels to rendezvous with Voyager, which should happen sometime in the next 5 to 6 years.
We've redirected 2 deep space vessels toward your position. If all goes well, they could rendezvous with you in the next 5 to 6 years.
6 years after 2377 would be 2383, which is when Prodigy takes place. Kathryn Janeway will appear in the form of an emergency training hologram, because when you're in the midst of an emergency, stopping to train is the only logical thing to do.
I didn't program you for sarcasm.
Now let's get to the ship, and here she is. So far so good. It looks like something that would have appeared on Voyager. Let's start up front and move back. The saucer has the familiar arrowhead shape featured on Voyager era ships. There's a row of windows here, similar to those seen on the Discovery Enterprise. The registry number is NX76884. As seen on many other Star Trek ships, the NX designation means that it's an experimental or prototype ship. The 76884 might be a nod to these replacement heater/air conditioner control knobs from a 1992 Ford Bronco. Or it's just a number. Voyager's was NCC 74656, so numerically it kind of fits in there. There isn't a ship name where you normally see one up front. It's found on the side and in relatively small text. It reads USS Protostar. The name Prodigy would have worked too, but Star Trek shows named after the ship that they take place on was never really a thing. That's just a little joke.
Maybe all that sarcasm is compromising your natural charm.
Being an NX, it means that this is a starship as opposed to some shuttle or runabout. Based on the usual visual cues like its windows, this ship does look small though. If the window size is any indication, this ship is about the same size as the Defiant. Along the rim is this bank of windows. It's a prominent feature, so there's probably going to be some corresponding interior room that will be used on the show. It's got a 10 forward kind of vibe to it. Also, it's located right on the edge of the saucer. Up top is the bridge. It's got this aircraft canopy looking cover. We get a glimpse of the bridge, which is surrounded with glass and also gives us a sense of scale. The canopy is huge, so either the bridge is much larger than what we see in the trailer, or the canopy covers more than just the bridge. On the exterior, we get these intersecting frame lines that we don't see on the interior. So again, it must be up here or over there, anyways, just out of view of the camera. The bridge looks pretty cold and sterile, like every other bridge we've seen since the Enterprise D. There's a captain's chair in the middle, with 2 forward consoles and another one way in front. The captain's chair doesn't look like anything we've seen before. It actually looks like one of these TNG era wheelchairs. Lots of stairs in here though, so not wheelchair accessible. The consoles look like a continuation of that familiar L-Cars look, which means they'll likely have rocks built into them because that's just a thing that Starfleet does. If not, there's plenty outside they could use. Around the back, the saucer tapers as you move towards the rear. In this reverse shot, it could have a shuttle bay here, which is a common place for one. The nacelles have a lot of J.J. Abrams influence. They're cylindrical, wider in the front, and more narrow in the aft. They have that jet turbine engine look that Abrams liked, because an engine with an air intake and flame exhaust is the sort of propulsion that's best suited for space. But they also acknowledge warp fields up here on this panel, so that's nice attention to detail. They also have this hood-like design in the front, like the JJ Enterprise, and the light source tucked underneath them. From this shot, the ship may have some kind of protective shell, or maybe not. The lighting just makes the surface look smoother than it does here. Oh, and of course, lens flares. The show is aimed at kids, which is good. I'm sure most of you got into Star Trek as a kid. With few exceptions, Star Trek was an all-ages type of deal. Though kids can still get into Star Trek through the old shows, this gives them another entry point. Already it's revealed that there's a legacy character to appear. It's this guy from that one episode played by Billy Campbell. He's best known as that one guy from the show that you can't think of right now, though you'll remember after the conversation has moved on. Incidentally, he was credited as William O. Campbell for this episode. He added the O because there was already another actor named William Campbell. This William Campbell is a significant part of Star Trek history. He played Trelane in the original series, and also Koloth, that Klingon captain from the Tribbles episode, and he played Koloth again on Deep Space Nine. Koloth would have been about 150 years old by that point, which apparently is a normal thing, because there are a few other Klingons in that episode who are also a century old. Klingons having long lifespans is one of those canon factoids that never really gets brought up. Wait, what was this video even about? Oh yeah, air conditioner knobs. Okay, that's the video. I'd like to thank these TNG era wheelchairs for helping support the channel. Sub if you want, that'd be cool. Catch you in the next video. Bye.
Dismissed. That's a Starfleet expression for get out.